Syria right now is going through a great civil war, a lot of death. It becomes part of the daily life is to see or to hear about the bombing and about the sanctions and about the hunger and devastation, refugees. It's different than when you see it on TV or hear about it. If you're just 20 minutes away from the capital, it's a disaster. It's unbelievable.
Because our media is very selective on what and how they produce their material, that the whole story is never coming through. And then it being a campaign year, I can't think of anything worse than having someone's story of them having to leave or flee their country because of terrorism, because of what's occurring, and it being like a circus for us to be fed.
I think it's like 60% of Americans don't really know a Muslim. So I think a lot of people have prejudices, or, you know, when they only see these horrible happenings by ISIS or different people who are extremists, they have these preconceived notions about what it means to be a Muslim.
Syria is a very beautiful country. I'm pretty sure no one knows how beautiful it is with the pictures that are portrayed in the media right now. We had a lot of sides in the conflict before ISIS, and there are a lot of people that were already killed, but unfortunately the media have not seen this until ISIS came. Before the conflict, I wake up at around 6:30, grab my coffee real quick, put my books in my backpack, and just wake my brother up because we both go to the same university. Usually we miss the bus. That's when we wake up mom and we follow the bus by the car. Once we're next to the bus and then the bus stops, we're off to college. It's a typical college day. Lots of assignments, lots of things due. Just learn and go back home like around 7. I have lunch with my family all the time. I visit my grandma every week, and lots of phone calls to all my friends and family. A day after the conflict, I wake up, but this time I wake up on the sounds of shelling. Regardless, I take my bag and I go catch my bus, if I catch it, of course. And then once I hit my college or the area close to my college, the communications are cut off. So mom no longer can reach us. I can't communicate with anyone of my friends on campus because there is no communications. We just go back, but every time we go back, we realize that, well, someone did not make it today to college. Maybe they're missing, maybe they could not come because their area is cut off from everyone else and they can't reach outside or just go outside. So it's just nothing like normal anymore. 28th of September, I was planning to go back to my college. 10 days later, I left Syria. It was like the hardest thing ever. And all of those feelings that I left home, it's hopeless. My mom also left her job. My brother could not adjust in his new school so fast. The whole new environment was pretty hard, especially when you change your life with your will. It's different from when you change it when you have to.
She's going from a totally different language in a totally different part of the world. Just knowing the background that she has, what has happened to her, and how she's taken that and made it a positive for her is just remarkable.
Coming from a war-torn country and coming to the United States where we have lots of privileges and comforts and are kind of oblivious to a lot of these conflicts that are going on all over the world, and that was difficult. And I think a lot of people who go through these really high-intensity traumatic situations, once they are out of those situations and have time to kind of think about them, and they hit them in a way that, you know, really kind of impacts their life.
Although I am a Syrian, I have not lived what they have lived. When Sarah came, she came with Syria in a very painful condition. And I realized from the suffering that she went through, having to quit her schools, having to leave, having her brother kidnapped and running away from the country and all that. It's just when you see it with the person and you know the person personally, it's different than when you see it on TV or hear about it.
You know, she did explain one struggle with her neighbor, where he was being very rude and was saying derogatory and racist remarks. I mean, this is the person that lives next to you. So I can't imagine what it'd be like to live next door to someone that apparently hates you. And you know, you're going to bed thinking you're safe because you're in your home. Everyone should feel safe in their home. But when you have your neighbor who's racist and prejudiced, I can't imagine a scary situation like that.
I think at first it was a struggle for her because of her headdress, and I think that people didn't understand. I mean, there's a lot of the stereotypical, people don't trust Muslims or their faith or anyone that, you know, looks like they are from that part of the world.
I know her heart is in Syria. That's where she really wants to be. So being separate from her home country and kind of seeing it destroyed, I think has been really difficult for her.
Knowing that the time of crisis I have to leave my parents was very hard. I realized how important my family is in my life. I realized how precious they are. So the day I left, I went into tears. I just couldn't say anything because in the time of crisis, you just realize how important those people in your life.
Every time you have a positive experience with someone who is of a different culture or background, you suddenly gain this appreciative knowledge of this person.
2011, back in Syria, when the conflict started, I saw that, hey, if we're asking a government to change, we need to change ourselves. So I started something called I Make a Difference. The idea behind I Make a Difference was making small changes. We go, my friends and I, take food with us and just, you know, give it to the people on the streets. We go to refugees who are inside Damascus and we just play with the kids and we share some candies and goodies with them. And those little changes is something that will make a change and a difference. So yes, I do make a difference.
I see her to an extent as a cultural ambassador because she's gonna be able to go back home and show that, you know what, not everyone in the US has the mentality that their media might be showing them. And at the same range, she's educated us while being here.
When she graduates here and goes back to home, back to Syria, she just wants to be a better person and in a better place.
I think she's made a huge difference on our campus, and she continues to educate us on what's going on in Syria and how we can respond to that. And, you know, she is an activist and has an activist passion and voice.
I will make a difference. Not a lot of people know about Syria. Not a lot of the people are aware of the refugees' problems. Maybe if I tell them, I will make a difference in refugees' lives.